Hi, my name is Charlee Sormano, and today I'm going to be talking about mental health of college athletes. I'm an English 101, and my teacher is Dr. Warren. And I just want to start off by saying this topic is very important to me because I'm a college athlete, and I'm sure it's important to many of the students at FRC because I know a lot of other students are also athletes. So, yeah. First off is my overview. This is what I will be talking about today in this presentation. First I'll be talking about the prevalence of mental illness in student athletes. So like how common it is, like what that looks like for them. Um, Second, I'll be talking about causes of mental illness in sports. Third, I'll be talking about why athletes don't seek help. And fourth, I'll be talking about what should be done to help athletes. My thesis statement is student athletes experience mental health issues due to training load, coaching style, and expectations. However, the stigma against mental health issues, which shows with athletes not wanting to be seen as weak and coaches pushing for mental toughness, prevents athletes from seeking help. In order to fix this, there should be systems put in place for alumni to support athletes. Athletic trainers should recognize when athletes are struggling. Coaches should shift their styles and seeking help for mental health should not be seen as weak. First, I'll be talking about the prevalence of mental illness in student athletes. So, this quote says 31% of student athletes reported moderate to severe symptoms of depression and or anxiety. This quote is from the article The Prevalence of Depressive and Anxiety Symptoms in Student Athletes and the Relationships with Resilience and Help-Seeking Behavior by Brenna Drew and James Matthews. Um, Obviously, there's 1/3 of athletes that are struggling, um, this quote states, and 1/3 is a lot, and it's often overlooked because um, many people think that because athletes are a part of a sport, it like builds their self-esteem, it builds their social connections, and it provides them with exercise, which exercise obviously makes for better moods and healthy lifestyles. However, student athletes carry a big load and it's very demanding to be a student athlete. This comes with your sport, obviously, um, education, homework, classes, and then also your social life because you want to be part of school events, you want to have friends, but sometimes you just don't have time for that, and that could leave an impact on people. Um, a lot of athletes experience burnout and like thinking their whole identity is within their sport when really it's not. Their sport and their identity are separate, and their happiness should not depend on how well they do in their sport or what their sport looks like to them. So, yeah. Next, I'll be talking about the causes of mental illness in sports. The first one I have down is overtraining. And this quote says intensive physical activity exposure, such as during collegiate sport, also has risks which may be taxing to participant mental health. Specifically, factors within collegiate sports, such as injury, pressure to excel, among others, may contribute negatively to student athlete mental health and well being. This quote is from the article called Collegiate Student Athlete Mental Health Symptoms Trajectories Across the Competitive Season. Do training load and resilience matter? So, one cause may be training load. Next is burnout. A lot of athletes experience burnout throughout their athletic careers because they just get mentally and physically exhausted. Next is underperformance, being scared to disappoint their coaches, fans, family, etc. Next is coaching style. And this quote states coaches and athletes both appear to support suppressing negative emotions and encourage appearing strong at all times. This quote is from the article Suck It Up and Go Play Mental Health Stigma in College Coaches and the Use of the Mental Illness Microaggressions by Kelly Courtney. This is coined as mental toughness is often what coaches are searching for. However, coaches often don't support their athletes getting help for their mental health because they want them to appear strong and tough. However, if they want their athletes to succeed in the sport and if they want to win, athletes need to be mentally okay. Next, I'll be talking about why athletes don't seek help. It's mainly stigma, both public and self stigma. This quote states self stigma represents an internalization of public stigma that an individual believes he or she is socially undesirable for seeking treatment. This is from the article Stigma, Attitudes, and Intentions to Seek Mental Health Services in College Student Athletes by Robert Hilliard. Um, Public stigma is basically people thinking that athletes are weak for seeking help, and that in turn makes self stigma. So they feel like they don't deserve to have help, or they think it's unacceptable socially or embarrassing. And the last bullet point is they don't want to be seen as weak. Um, Next, when we talk about what should be done to help athletes, the first thing I have is alumni support. This quote says peer leaders introduce new strategies for improving one's mental health, all of which are derived from evidence based therapies and facilitate group discussions. This quote is from the article Mood Lifters for College Athletes, a psychosocial approach to improving mental health for student athletes. I think this concept is really cool, having alumni speak to the current players because it's evidence-based and they can give them real ways to cope and real ways to get through things, but they can also relate to them on a different level because they've actually experienced what they're going through. Another way that athletes can get help are athletic trainers recognizing when they're struggling. This quote states specifically injury, involuntary career termination, performance expectations, and overtraining are thought to be risk factors for depression among collegiate student athletes. And this quote is from the article Preparedness, Confidence, and Best Practices in Preventing, Recognizing, and Managing Mental Health Cases in National Collegiate Athletic Association Institutions by Julian. And injury is plays a big part in having mental illness in sports. And student athletes often spend a lot of time with athletic trainers when they are hurt. So athletic trainers could help them by either helping them get back to compete or just providing support. And if their injury is career ending, they could point the athletes in the direction of a way to get help, either like therapy or something similar, so that they don't go through a depressive state. In conclusion, if you're an athlete struggling, please seek help. Athletes have a lot of weight to carry between school, social life, and sports. You are not weak. If you're struggling with your mental health, everyone goes through things. So, yeah, this is my works cited. And thank you so much for listening. And I hope maybe this proves that athletes aren't weak for seeking mental health support, and that if they do seek help, they're doing what's best for them and what's best for their program. Thank you so much for listening.